Hello there, good morning everybody. Well, we are back in the shipyard here at Albufeira Marina. We're just about to have a look at Andreza. She's gone through her service, it's the last day on the hard, and we have the travel lift, which is behind me, booked for tomorrow morning to put her back into the water. So, quick walk around, try and show you some of the boats that are here in the marina itself. Obviously we've got some really nice boats out here being serviced. Got a lovely big 72-foot Predator there for love. That boat is currently for sale. I'll put a little link to the broker who's selling that. It's obviously been traded in. The broker took it as a trade-in and is now looking to service and sell it. We've got a beautiful big Ferretti behind us there, 72-foot, 22-metre Ferretti. And then of course we've got Andreza here, the lady herself, now in the final stages of her service, and I'll give you a quick show around the bodywork and what was done on there so you can have a look at it. Before she came out, her engines were run up to temperature, and then she was connected to a diagnostic computer, and they were checked out by the people at Celtic Marine here in Albufeira Marina. Celtic Marine is run by a man called Mark Hampson, absolutely top guy, knows everything about it, everything about boats that you want to know. He's your man. Him and his team have cared for my boats since day one. I have no hesitation in recommending them. So we're going to have a quick look round and see what work has been done to the bodywork and the underside of Andreza. So first things first, she was taken out, she was power washed underneath to remove all the old rubbish that was stuck to the bottom of her, and then her old anti-foul was taken off, and at which point she then started to have her bodywork cut and polished, and that's been done absolutely beautifully. Here she's looking splendid. You can see the mirror finish in that blue paint, and believe me, you've really got to take care of blue paint in the sun down here in the south of Portugal, and certainly in the Mediterranean. If you're going to have a blue hull boat, you need to take care of that. Looking at it, I'll lift the camera up so you can perhaps get a better look. You can see the mirror shine, absolutely amazing. And starting at the front of the boat here, the first job that we did was to take out the propellers on the bow thruster. We've got a twin propeller bow thruster, one on each side, and if you can just see inside there, there is an anode on the bottom of that bow thruster that had to be replaced. So you take out the propellers, treat them with anti-foul, change the anode, and there's a story behind that this time. I'll explain that to you a little bit later in the video. And then of course she's had new anti-foul applied underneath. She was placed on the stands by the travel hoist, and all the anti-foul, the old anti-foul was taken off, new anti-foul placed on, and that's been done. We'll move round to the stern of the boat and let you have a look what's been done there. So the first thing you'll notice is she's a shaft drive boat, and the shafts and the propellers have all been treated, and new anodes have been placed upon the shafts. There's one on each side. They're perfectly balanced right in the middle. The measurements are very key from where they come out from the bearing, so that you don't end up with any imbalance in your shafts. And then moving around the back of the boat to the stern, you can see that she's had new, sorry about this, we've got Brazilian people working next to us screaming at each other. We've got new anodes placed on the trim tabs, new anodes placed upon each of the propellers, and new anodes placed upon the stern thruster propellers at each end. Into there, brand new anodes on the stern thrusters. These anodes on the back here we've left on. There's plenty of life left in those yet, no need to change them just this season. They'll get at least another season out of those. They're absolutely fine. And there is your other anode on the starboard side shaft. Again, absolutely beautiful finish on the blue paintwork. She's had all of a hull and a superstructure polished, and that's about standard for the season. So the one thing we forgot to mention is when the engines were serviced, the anodes inside the engine in the cooling system and in the heat exchangers, both on both engines, and the generator and the air conditioning were also changed out as part of the service. That's normal every year to make sure that you don't get any corrosion going on inside your heat exchangers, etc. Now we've had 2 additional jobs done that were noticed this season. As we were coming to the end of the season, Andreza has a sliding roof on there. She's a hardtop boat, and she has a roof that's built by Bezzanzoni. Those are the people who make all the passerelles that you see, all the hydraulic platforms that you see on most of these big boats. And most of the sliding roofs, chances are, if it's on a Sunseeker, it's probably a Bezzanzoni roof that you've got there. Now, towards the end of the season last year, the sliding roof was struggling a little bit to close, and we couldn't figure out quite why. We thought maybe the tracks that she runs on needed to be lubricated, but when we got her into the yard this time, we stripped the roof down, and the roof runs on 2 belts, 2 teeth belts, that one on each side, one on the port side, one on the starboard side, and the port side belt had snapped and gone. So rather than just replace the one belt, we stripped the whole thing out and replaced both of those belts. Not a cheap job, let me tell you. Those belts themselves are about €400 a piece for what is effectively a big rubber band. As well as that, when we were doing the service, I'll run you back towards the bow thruster, because we had a little issue there with the bow thruster. As Mark's team were changing the anodes and removing that anode from the bow thruster, it's held on by a little grub screw underneath, and that grub screw runs into the oil the oil drain plug from there. There's a gearbox inside the boat under the front cabin, and what happened was it seized in. As they tried to undo the bolt, the whole head of the plug sheared off. Therefore, they couldn't drain the gearbox oil on the bow thruster. So what they had to do is, Mark's team luckily has an engineering shop here. They stripped out the bow thruster, they took it into the machine shop, they drilled out the snapped plug, they had to fabricate a new one because the parts aren't available for it, so they fabricated a new drain plug in there and then refitted the whole bow thruster back into the boat and added the anode onto the bottom of it. So back working, all fully serviced. While she was out of the boat, obviously the whole bow thruster came out. Mark took the opportunity then to give the bow thruster a once over, make sure everything was absolutely perfect with it before putting it back into the boat and refitting the anode and the propellers. So those were the only 2 jobs really that needed doing. In addition to that, she's now ready to go back into the water in the morning. She's got a final detail, and then myself and Susanna, who crews with me, will be spending the next probably 2 or 3 days going through the interior with a fine-tooth comb, cleaning absolutely anything that stands still, making sure she's pristine, ready for the season, and then we're on the water hopefully from the middle of next week. So as well as servicing the outside, we also had all the kit serviced for the safety kit. So we had the life raft taken away, sent away, unpacked, repacked, certified again. I'll show you the certificates in a moment. All the fire extinguishers came off the boat, and there's 8 in total if you include the automatic fire suppression systems in the engine rooms and in the passerelles. So they have been done. We have new certificates for those. Very important stuff. You've got to have that done. Otherwise, if you get caught by the maritime police and your fire extinguishers are not up to date, there's a €500 fine, and that's per appliance. So if there's 8 of them on board, that's £4,000 fine. So well worthwhile doing. So that's all been done. They will all be placed back on the boat along with the life raft, which is currently out of its socket, which is there, out of its holder, and that'll be put back on. Are the certificates for the fire extinguishers, actually 7 of them, not 8, my mistake. And there is the recertification for the life raft. So this is me signing off for now. We'll be back in the morning, and we'll be sticking Andreza in that bad boy there while she goes back into the water. Last little bits and pieces. The guys from Celtic Marine just making sure that all the stainless steel is nice and shiny and waxed, and getting ready to then put her back into the water. The crane will be up here probably in about another 10-15 minutes. Samson there at Celtic Marine. She's now up in the air. They will now remove the boat stands, and Mark's team will go around and they will underseal and anti-foul where the boat stands have been, and then she'll be left to cure for about 10 minutes before she goes back into the water. Done. Next job, cleaning and more cleaning. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next video.